Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about my June reads. It's already well into July and here I am. So, off to a great start. My chair is making lots of noise. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm currently participating in a reading challenge for my library. You could either choose to read 30 days in a row, or not in a row, just 30 days. Or you could pick a count of books to hit. And so I picked the count, and I'm going to try to hit 20 books. It's June 2 to August 30, so like 3 months. It's July 8, and I'm at 10 already. So I think I set an achievable goal. So that's been fun. This is, what did I do to this chair? Book one was Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. This was an audiobook that I listened to through my library, so I cannot hold on to anything. So I will hold on to this. This was the second book in the Emily Wilde trilogy. I believe there's only 3, and I think there's only going to be 3. I had a really good time with this one. I gave it 3 stars. I listened to it and kind of like par for the course when I listen to books, I sometimes tune out because I'm doing stuff. And I felt a little lost at times because I didn't pay attention well enough and there was a lot going on. But the vibe was the same as the first one, which I loved. So I should have known that, you know, it would get a little twisty-turny, lots going on. Got distracted. But I had a really good time. It picks right up where the first one left off. I think it's like a pretty quick, like, time frame. Like, it's not spread out over years or anything. It's like pretty speedy. I gave it 3 stars just because I was a little lost, so that could very well be because of the audiobook choice I made. So keep that in mind. I had a really lovely time though. I'm going to finish the series. I put in my hold for the 3rd book, but the 3rd book came out in February of this year, so there is a little bit of a wait list. I had a great time. It had a different, like the first book was set in like a wintry wonderland, and this book was set kind of in like a very lush green place. So I like both of like the topography choices, but it did have like a different overall vibe. But I had a great time. I would recommend, and I will continue with the series. Next, I have a book for this one. Next, The Antidote by Karen Russell. Wow, I think I've talked about this, but this was recommended to me by one of my very best friends and also by Kava Akbar during his author talk that I got to see. Karen Russell wrote Swamplandia, which I read a long time ago, and I actually recently just scored a copy of at the library when I was volunteering. I have it right here, so that's exciting. I'll revisit that at some point. But this is an epic tale. It is long. And it takes turns it's like 400 pages, a little over. It took turns I wasn't prepared for it to take. It is set in Nebraska, not Kansas, Nebraska, in this place called Uz. And it's like the 1930s, and it follows a girl who lost her mom. Her mom was killed, and she got sent to live with her uncle. And also this character called the Antidote, and she is a prairie witch. And she can take your memories, like she kind of goes into this trance. You tell her a memory that you don't want to hold anymore. So when you tell it to her, she takes it and like stores it in herself. And then the person who told the memory does not have any recollection of it, and they always leave feeling like a weight has lifted. They like feel a million times better. And she just kind of holds these memories. And they all have like these little slips of like numbers, kind of like an invoice, and they can come and retrieve their memories at any time. So it follows the girl, what's her name? Dell. Is that her name? Why does that not sound right? Yes, okay. It follows Dell, the main character girl. Her full name is Asphodel Oletsky. Her uncle Harp Oletsky, and then the Antidote. So it's set in the 30s. It starts with the wow, it's been a minute since I read this. The Black Sunday dust storm of 1935, and it was just like, you know, in the 30s, the Dust Bowl. Everybody in that area farmed the land to oblivion. They got rid of all the topsoil and native plants, and so all of the topsoil just like eroded and blew away, and then it was just barren land that nobody could farm. And so the big storm that happened to start this off was kind of like the nail in the coffin. Like, a lot of people were leaving this town, but for some reason Harp's farm was totally untouched, and it was starting to grow better and be very productive. Dell is a basketball player, and she's like just fighting to just keep playing basketball, even though they have no money and no indoor court to practice on, and they have to practice with dust masks and stuff. And then the Prairie Witch, because on that day of the storm, the Prairie Witch, the Antidote, lost all of her memories. So she was empty. And so it's her trying to figure out why, and trying to deal with the fact that a lot of these people are leaving town and they want their memories, and she doesn't have them. Also comes into play a really evil police officer, some magical realism things, and also, yeah, I don't remember. And then it kind of all boils back down to the fact that we are all on stolen land. This was incredibly powerful. This is early on, so this is not a huge spoiler, but she says, this is what I can do for people, I thought. This is my new purpose. I will take whatever they cannot stand to know, the memories that make them chase impossible dreams, that make them sick with regret and grief, whatever they hope to preserve for the future, whatever cargo unbalances the cart, whatever days and nights that they cannot absorb into their living, whatever they wish to forget for a morning or a decade. I can hold on to anything for anyone: milk, honey, rainwater, venom, blood, horror, happiness, sorrow, regret. Pour it all into me. I am the empty bottle. I am a new kind of antidote to all that ails you. Ugh, read this, please. Please read it. 5 stars. Next, I read a graphic novel called Garlic and the Witch by Bree Paulsen, which is the sequel to Garlic and the Vampire, which I read last month. This was very, very cute. I have no complaints. Short little read. I read it in one sitting, probably like a half hour. It follows our main character, Garlic, who's a fraidy little cat of a garlic clove who needs to get help from the witch, her creator, so to say. And she kind of finds her bearings a bit and kind of weaves her way through a new path and a new challenge life has thrown her. So I'm not going to give any spoilers, would give away the whole story. So Garlic and the Witch, I didn't give it a star rating, but I had a great time. Very quick, easy read. Recommend. Next, I listened to, on my Libby, through my library, The Ministry of Time by I think it's Kaliane Bradley. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Everyone has heard of this book. If you were reading in the last year or two or at a bookstore, you saw it. The cover is kind of iconic, to be honest. It is a nice cover. I didn't love this one. I gave it 3 stars. I was waiting for like an epic time travel romance saga, and what I had was a very slow burn of a story with a little bit of time travel aspects. I mean, a lot of time travel aspects, but less traveling and more like what happens when you bring somebody from 300 years ago to present day. How would they adjust to present day London? And that was the story. It is, the government, they created this way to bring people back from the past, and they brought a slew of people from different time periods that were about to die, historic deaths, like known deaths. I think the main character guy was on the Terror, the ship that got stuck in the Arctic, and like everybody on board died. So he was going to die, and they brought him forward. And then he got assigned a handler, which is our main character, and it's just kind of about them both navigating life and the nuances of different social norms from hundreds of years ago to now, and a little bit of time travel, like drama, and at the end it got a little faster paced with some like enemies trying to get them. No spoilers. I didn't like this because I was led to believe it would be this like amazing love story and like this epic time travel story, and it was just calm and slow. And I love a calm and slow story, don't get me wrong, but I just expected a different story, and that really kind of unfortunately jaded my view of it. Kathleen Illustrated read it on YouTube here, and she described it as full of gentle yearning, and that is a much better description of the book. So if you want a story full of gentle yearning with a touch of time travel, this is your book. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I can see why people love it. I think it's a little like a hot or cold book for people. So 3 stars for me. I don't know if I recommend. Maybe. Next is The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. Look at, this is so, I bought it because of the cover. Look at this cover. It's fantastic. It's so good. Oh, I gave it only 3 stars though. Oops. Uh-oh. It was just a little slow paced for me. So the premise is that it's this indigenous family from Nova Scotia, and they come into Maine every summer to pick berries. It starts right off with one summer, the youngest daughter of this family of 4 children disappears. She cannot be found. She's gone. And the whole book is this family dealing with the fallout of that. It follows her next brother, so the second youngest child, Joe, who is dying of cancer. And it's Joe like dealing with that because he feels some sort of responsibility for it because he was the last person that saw her. And then it jumps back and forth between Joe and the daughter that was missing, but she doesn't know that she's the daughter that is missing. It's like both of these stories like weaving in and out. It's my friend described it as like a story that can show you the impact that small choices make, or like the impact that large choices in this case can make on people, and like the ripple effects of it, because it's not just these people, it's everyone around them. I liked the concept. Some people loved this book. I found it kind of slow, and I really pushed through the end just to be done with it. I gave it 3 stars. Partly because I just love this cover so much. It's a lot of just like interpersonal and family dynamics and what happens when you make some bad choices, perhaps, even if they're well-intentioned. I gave this 3 stars. It would be a maybe recommendation. Next, The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. I put this book down in May. I was trucking right along with it, but then I was like, oh crap, I have all these book clubs coming up, so I had to put it down to shift focus, and I got sick in May, blah, 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 blah. So I finally picked this back up and finished it. Of course it was amazing. It's my favorite movie. I'm a huge fan of the movies. I don't know, I think the Fellowship book was better, to me, personally, was better than Two Towers, only because the way this is split up, so like, it is like almost a clear, not really, there's more on the front end. The front half of the book is Legolas, Gimli, Aragorn, Gandalf. The second half of the book is Frodo and Sam and Smeagol, Gollum. I didn't love how it was just like broken in half. I wish it was like intermixed a little more, because I think I stall out a little bit on the Frodo and Sam story because it's so heavy and sad. One thing to know about the books is they are not following the first, second, third movie timeline. This book starts with the death of Boromir and ends after Shelob. So like the timing is a little all over the place. Also, I'm so pissed Faramir in the movie like detains him and is like tempted by the ring, and he's like, oh, I'll bring it to Gondor and make my dad love me. Tomato, tomato. Tomatoes in the third book, actually, but he never does that in the book. He says, don't tell me what you have, Frodo. I don't want to know. But I need to make sure you're not going to like give away the secret of my lair that you've stumbled upon, like the little cave in the waterfall thing. And then Sam actually accidentally tells him he has the One Ring. And Faramir is like, whoa, that's a heavy burden. Why don't you be on your way? Come on. Peter Jackson, you did Faramir so dirty. Wow. Also, Boromir's death is like 1 page. Like 1. I was like, wow. Unceremonious much. My favorite line. Oh, it's so good. It's also timely with like the evil of our administration and like, why do we have to fight for good? And like, oh, darn it, I have to fight for good. I don't want to fight. That's how I'm feeling. But I loved this with the Faramir. This was part of Faramir's catching up with Frodo and Sam. He said, yet even so, it was Gondor that brought about its own decay, falling by degrees into dotage and thinking that the enemy was asleep who was only banished, not destroyed. Frickin' timely. I gave this 4 stars. Fellowship got 5. I want to finish it this summer, but I again have a slew of book club books to read, so we shall see. Recommend. Let's check on Annie. Hold on. Don't come in. Can you still hear me from far away? I'm getting fruit snacks. Got fruit snacks. Ooh. And I let Annie in the house. She was sunbathing. 3 more books. Next. Something in the Woods Loves You by Jarod K. Anderson. Ugh, this was so good. Ugh, it was so good. I started listening to it through my library. Didn't finish it in time, but have no fear. I bought it the first day I started listening to it because it was so freaking good that I was like, I need this in my life right now, and I need to hold it. I need to underline. I need to ingest. This is about a man he is a poet. He had like this online presence for a while. The Crypto Naturalist was his name online. He suffers with depression and suicidal ideation all the time. It is a constant battle for him. And so this is like kind of, it's broken out in chapters by different like parts of the woods. So like one chapter is field mouse, another is crow, red-tailed hawk, etc. So it's broken out in like by, oh, pork chop. Oh man. Not the same shot, I don't know. So it's broken out by like this feature, so to say, of the woods. And he kind of weaves it into a kind of memoir-esque retelling of his life. A lot of it deals with his depression and suicidal thoughts. So trigger warnings on those, but I found a lot of comfort in them. I think it's one of the most realistic depression depictions that I have experienced. And I have dealt with depression in my life. But he kind of like found his way through it all by reconnecting with nature and getting out into the woods. And by having a supportive partner that helped him find a therapist, and by being very dedicated to therapy. Listen, Liz, get a therapist. I've been talking about it for years, months. Pork wants to go outside. Hold on. Let's go outside. You can go outside. Oh, okay, she's back. Can you tell I don't plan out what I'm going to say about these books beforehand? I can. Okay, all to say, I really loved this. I have so many dog ears. I have so many underlined things. Oh, where is it? Oh, there's one that frickin' changed my life. It's long. Buckle up. I'm going to read it all. Get ready. He's talking about these big problems in the world and how can we handle all the suffering and how do we attack it and help, like, because we can't. There's nothing we can do. Thinking about Palestinians, thinking about our government and administration right now, thinking about war in the Middle East and in Ukraine, and like the climate. Gosh darn it. Okay. I'm feeling a little unhinged. So, honesty compels us to recognize that we cannot take responsibility for global outcomes because we do not own or control them. This doesn't mean we have no responsibility at all. We have the responsibility to do what we can while honoring our own natural worth, the worth that commands us to save room and energy for our own happiness. Picture a stone, a towering boulder with a lake-sized shadow. This boulder is the global issue or outcome that is troubling you. You cannot find hope to move it on your own. Find a way to make peace with that. Find a way to make peace with that. You did not build the boulder, and you cannot move an object of that scale by yourself. You could certainly choose to break your body against the stone. Many have, but your shattered bones will not shift all those tons of rock. Daunting, yes? And yet, boulders of this size are moved by human hands all the time, many hands working in concert. This is our obligation, to lay our hands lightly on the things we can influence and press in the direction of our values. If enough people press in the same direction, the ground will rumble and the boulder will shift. We can do this, our part, while acknowledging our vital constraints, namely the necessity of honoring our own limitations and our unshakable right to mental and physical well-being. I cannot. It was everything I needed. I needed it so much in the time. I felt about this book like I felt about the Book of Joy, which I read in the winter last year. I actually marked this one. I could have underlined something on every page in this book, and the same goes for here. 3 incredible men in these books. Wow. Jarod K. Anderson, I consider you right up there with the Dalai Lama and Sir Desmond Tutu. I hope you know this. Linda. I gave this 5 stars. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It's going to be a top book of the year for me. Next, I listened to Private Rites by Julia Armfield through the library yet again. Julia Armfield wrote Our Wives Under the Sea and Salt Slow, which was short stories that she wrote. I unfortunately felt this one was like my least favorite of the 3. I loved Our Wives Under the Sea. I really enjoyed Salt Slow. And Private Rites was a little bit of a drag. She does weird really well, and I just wanted it to be weird. But she does weird well subtly, and I just wanted more weird. It got there eventually, but I don't know if I quite understood it all. I don't really understand the end. I want to talk to somebody about it. Please tell me what happened in the end. I don't know. But it was weird. It's about 3 sisters that 2 have the same mom, and the youngest has a different mom. And it's all the personal dynamics of them and them dealing with their father dying. And he's like this architect genius asshole. And they are in a London that is in the near future that rains incessantly and everything's flooding and the world is falling apart slowly. And it's them dealing with all of that. I liked it. I want it more weird, but at the same time, I would recommend it, and you should also read it. I gotta let Pork Chop in now because he wants to come back in. Hold on. I'm coming. Come. Get in here. We got one more book left, you guys. One more. Okay. All right. And to end this off on a bummer, next was The Haar by David Sodergren. He's a Scottish man. It was set in Scotland. The Haar is native to Scotland and the UK, I think. It is a cold fog that quickly rolls in off the sea. And this is a horror, if that wasn't apparent by the cover and the name. It's kind of creepy. It's more just gory. It's not that creepy. It's this like tiny Scottish town on the coast. It follows our main character. She's an elderly woman. Her husband died at sea, like his body was never found. He worked at sea. And it's an old town. A lot of old folks live there. And a rich butthole is trying to build a giant golf course and is buying up all the land and making life miserable for the people that aren't leaving, like our main character. It was gross. I wouldn't call it all that scary, but it was gross. So if you're afraid of gore, then yes. Our main character finds a blob of goo by the sea, and she decides to save it. And when it eats blood, it can turn into her husband from her memories. It's not her husband, don't get that wrong. But like it ate her blood a little bit and was like, I could read all your memories. And then it turned into her husband. And then of course she had like a hard time reconciling that like her husband who's been dead and gone for all these years is gone, but he's standing in front of her because this blob turned into him. But the blob needs to kill to have power and energy to do that, and it also can like heal her and make her feel younger and like look younger. I had high hopes for it. I feel so unhinged. I'm sorry. I had high hopes for it. It did not meet my expectations. Nope. It did not. It was just kind of gory. And it was definitely a woman written by a man, which I hate. And it was apparent. He talked a lot, like, and then at the end he was like, this character is based off of my grandma, who I loved so dearly. And a lot of it was this main character asking if she would be up to sexual activity at her age. I don't know. It felt just like that wasn't necessary to me. Boys should not write female main character. All that to say, I gave it 2 stars. I listened to it and I didn't like it. 2 is generous. Okay, that was unhinged. But those were the 9 books I finished in June. On to some fun ones in July already. Fourth Wing. Get ready for some Fourth Wing action. But yeah, it was a decent month. I had kind of middle of the roads, but I had a couple 5 stars. The Antidote and Something in the Woods Loves You are both amazing. They both were top contenders for the whole year, I think. So, can you hear my squeaky chair? Oh, it's done. Wow. Happy reading of your own. I hope you're reading something better than the Haar. Okay, happy reading. Hope you're reading something great. And I will see y'all soon.